Hello, I am Professor Simon. Today, I am here to tell you about Shakespearean language. The Shakespeare language used in the works of the bard is rich and colourful, but many of his odd words are no longer in current use or in the modern dictionary, and the origins meanings of the Elizabethan vocabulary are totally unfamiliar. William Shakespeare did in fact invent many of the words that he used, and these are documented in the William Shakespeare Dictionary. His translations and understanding of the real meanings behind some of the Shakespeare language in the great plays and sonnets can be difficult. He was not born to the nobility, and his Elizabethan education was quite basic, as he left school at the age of 3 and never attended any university. Neither of his parents could read or write, so a dictionary was not that important during the era. Yet, his vocabulary was massive for a man of his background. A total of 5,000 different words were used in his plays, and a further 7,000 were used in his poems and sonnets. This gave him a vocabulary of 2,000 words, when the average vocabulary of the day in Stratford, England was less than 500. The average English-speaking person only has about 2,000 words in their vocabulary. For a person with a university degree, this range in vocabulary would rise to about 3,000 to 4,000. It is therefore no wonder that he is referred to as an Elizabethan literary genius. Part of the genius of Shakespeare was that he was writing at a time when the language was rapidly changing. Early modern English was evolving into the language that we speak now, modern English. Shakespeare took advantage of this situation by using a lot of wordplay that incorporated the great vowel shift within many of his famous puns. The great vowel shift was the transformation of the old vowel sounds of early modern English into the new vowel sounds, a, e, I, o, u, that we know today in modern English. Students of Shakespeare often have trouble understanding the sentence structure in the plays. Shakespeare quite frequently wrote sentences in inverted or backwards order. In Shakespearean, reek off thy song and haste thee quick away, from measure for measure act. Modern English translation, stop singing and leave quickly. In Shakespeare, how like a fawning publican he looks. From the Merchant of Venice. Modern English translation, he looks like an overly flattering tavern keeper. In Shakespeare, the clock struck 9 when I did send the nurse. In half an hour, she promised to return. From Romeo and Juliet. Modern English translation, I sent the nurse at 9 o'clock, she promised to return in a half an hour. This object before verb structure is found in Germanic languages, and the inverted sentence structure reflects the English language's Germanic roots. The words of Shakespeare's plays are meant to be spoken aloud. A play is a dynamic thing where all the action takes place on a stage, instead of taking place inside your head as when reading a novel. Take the time to read the plays aloud, and you will gain new insights into the language of Shakespeare. Shakespeare made great use of what people knew and what they didn't know. Shakespeare essentially wrote for two audiences: those who were educated and those who were not. The educated classes, who included the nobility, and the university-educated, would understand the subtle jokes about politics, international affairs, and the court, which would fly right over the penny-paying groundlings' heads. On the other hand, the groundlings would appreciate the bawdier jokes within the plays, as would everyone else. Shakespeare wrote for a diverse audience who sometimes understood the layered meanings within the plays and sometimes did not. He understood his varied audience and tried to write something for everyone, reflecting back not only the diversity of human experience, but the eternal themes within that experience. That is why, as the English language continues to evolve, the themes within the plays will always seem modern. Hopefully, now you have learned to get the gist of Shakespeare by appreciating his wordplay and the syntactical, word order differences of early modern English. Maybe now, reading Romeo and Juliet won't be such a tragedy. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.